We can go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our quarterly content update webinar. My name is Erin Hill. I am the program marketing specialist for CareAcademy. And we'll go over some quick CareAcademy information before we head into introducing our speakers today. Okay, some housekeeping things before we get started. The webinar is being recorded. We will send you the recording after this, probably tomorrow or maybe Monday. We will also send you the slide deck, and we will have a new landing page so that if anybody is not able to join today, we will get them all the information they need to watch the webinar later. For Q&A, if you could at any point, if you have questions, pop them into the Q&A feature. We'll hold them until the end unless there's some particularly pressing question. So as you have them, just go ahead and pop them into that Q&A, and we will get them when we get to our question section toward the end. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to you a little bit about CareAcademy, and then I will give it over to our content team. They're going to go through some new content, some announcements, and some demos for you, and then we'll do our Q&A. All right. Andrew, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So I just shared in the chat as well that in a few slides, we're going to be doing an interactive poll that we'd love for you to participate in. So we're using a tool called Slido. So if you go to slido.com, you'll be prompted to enter that 6-digit or 7-digit code to join the poll. You can also scan your phone's camera for the QR code to enter, and we'll share a little bit more information once we get to that point, but just so you can get situated within the platform there.
Awesome. So just a few things about CareAcademy. We are a mobile-first training platform for caregivers. We provide at-a-glance agency insights, advanced compliance automation, external training management. We got a bunch of integrations with some back office systems and some other things to sort of help your caregivers find everything in one place and move through everything easier. We have a lot of our training is eligible for college credit with Southern New Hampshire University, which is really awesome because one of our big goals is to help caregivers with their upskilling, to sort of help them pursue the path that they want to, but also help you retain them. And all of our classes are engaging, they're mobile friendly. I know with caregivers, a lot of times they're on the road a lot. They're working, sometimes they don't have access to laptops, and we make sure that they can get to their trainings and everything very easily through a mobile platform whenever it is that they need to start doing it. So that's us. I don't know how much more we have on the next. Yeah, here we go. I'll kick this over to you, Andrew.
Thanks, Erin. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of CareAcademy's current content library. So our library at this point is over 450 classes and training resources, and it's always growing, hence this webinar today. Our video libraries consist of over 130 videos, which are in a micro-learning format. So this means that they're ranging from usually 3 to 5 minutes, and they're focusing on teaching caregivers a very specific skill or competency just in time or right when they need it. We also offer a home health aid certification program that meets the federal requirements for home health aid training. We have accredited continuing education courses for licensed clinicians and home care and home health administrators. And we also have programs that provide caregivers with career ladders that allow them to specialize their training needs based on the unique needs of their clients. And we'll actually be talking about 2 new additions to our specialized certification library in just a bit. So hang tight there. Okay, Erin.
Okay, yeah, I will introduce our 3 speakers now. Andrew, who has been talking to you, is our Senior Manager of Learning, Design, and Development. He's got over a decade of experience in instructional design and manages CareAcademy's learning design and development team. I won't read the whole thing just because it's
Thank
on
you.
our landing page and everything. Yes.
Oh.
All right. Next, we have Mindy, who is an instructional designer here with CareAcademy. She's got over 30 years of experience as an instructional designer. Written a bunch of textbooks, which is pretty cool. And she will be talking to us today about our new content. And then we have Aislinn. Aislinn is our learning designer and producer. She's got 12 years of experience within the field. So we have a lot of very competent and very experienced people creating our content for us, which is amazing.
Oh. Okay, so everyone, this is the moment of truth. If you've already joined Slido, we're going to just activate the poll momentarily. But if you haven't yet, if you just joined, we're going to be doing an interactive poll using this tool called Slido. So either go to slido.com, enter that 7-digit code, or use your phone to scan that QR code to participate. And I'm going to need to navigate away from this presentation really quickly to start the poll. Okay, so the poll is active, and our question to you all today is, drum roll. Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted to. All right. So in your opinion, I'll just read it. What makes training engaging?
Can you put the either the Slido screen up or the slide or the platform?
Yeah,
there
yeah.
we go.
Yeah, let me.
Okay. Oh, and I was supposed to speak now. I'm sorry. To tell you that it does say enter a word, but you can add more than one word, and you can enter this more things into here than just once. So if you want to enter several things that you think makes training engaging, please go for that.
This is good stuff. Just keep it open for another 30 seconds or so to get your responses in. Wow. And Mindy, correct me if I'm wrong, the size of the word grows with the number of responses that match it?
Yeah, so the words that are big mean that more than one person has said that. So so if you keep watching the screen and you see something, you go, oh yeah, I want to add that too. You can add that and it'll make that word bigger.
Awesome.
And we've got a lot of synonyms here. So we've got interactive questions, interactive, interaction. But we have a lot of synergies here.
Cool. Yeah, let me I'm gonna do some sharing on the fly here. I just took a screenshot of the word cloud as it was. I'll put it in the chat so everyone can reference that as we move forward. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for participating. And that makes a perfect seg into our next mini section before we dive into actually sharing some new content. So I wanted to spend a minute to talk about what makes CareAcademy's learning solutions best in class. So being the passionate learning nerds as we are, as you saw with our experience, we wanted to come up with an easy acronym for you to remember that describes our team's guiding principles, which is CARES. We almost went with SCARE, but we thought that would be not as appropriate, especially for our industry. So came up with CARES, and this stands for competency-based, advancement-focused, relevant, engaging, and supportive. So a lot of those themes I saw pop up in that word cloud. And you'll also see these themes pop up in the new content that we're going to share with you momentarily. There is a really great blog post on our website that I'd like to share with you. If you'd like to go into more or see more detail about, the definitions behind some of these terms and also examples of how they show up in our training, this blog post that I'm sharing in the chat will help illuminate that. All right. Aaron, just a quick gut check. We are recording, right? Or should I?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. So again, just before we jump in, if you're new to CareAcademy, if you haven't seen any of our classes, just want to give you a brief overview of what the format of our classes looks like. So all of our classes are built in a modular or a chunked format. So this essentially breaks content into digestible pieces. If you're trying to learn something new, it's really hard to drink that knowledge from a fire hose. So at CareAcademy, we break our content into discrete lessons and sections so that we cover targeted topics at once and let learners really practice and reinforce that. And speaking of practice, so all of our classes have one or more knowledge checks, which allows learners to practice their skills in a no-stakes environment. So these knowledge checks, they're not scored. They allow learners to pick a response, get feedback, and continue to build on that knowledge as they progress through the class. At the very end of the class, once the learner completes all of the lessons, they'll complete a multiple choice final test. Once they successfully pass that, they will get a certificate of completion. All of our classes are predominantly video-based, driven by stories. I saw that pop up in the word cloud. Also scenarios, in many cases for skills procedures showing, what is the best way to do something, what may not be as effective, that sort of model. Our classes are highly interactive. In addition to the videos that we'll have, we also have lots of supplemental reading sections, but also interactive activities that learners will complete to continue to kind of reinforce the skills and knowledge that they're learning. And lastly, I wanted to mention that our team, when writing our content, we keep in mind that we want it to be as accessible as possible for as broad of an audience as possible. We understand our learners. We know their needs. We aim for a 6th to 8th grade reading level throughout our contents, just making it as easy as possible to understand and get through so that they can provide great outcomes for their clients. All right, so that aside, let's jump right into the good stuff. So let's start talking about some of the new content that we've created in Q1. First up, just to preface this, the first 2 classes that we're going to show and tell you are part of a larger certification that we'll also mention later. So, and this cert is based on cooking skills. So appropriately left, this first class is basic cooking skills for direct care workers. It is 1 hour of foundational content around cooking skills. So learners are going to learn how to read a recipe. We spoke to customers once we did some research around like what are caregivers struggling with, when they're getting into cooking. So reading recipes, very foundational, very important to master, and also how to change those recipes if needed to accommodate clients' preferences, but also their dietary needs due to their what their care plan specifies. We also cover the basic tools and techniques used when cooking. Should I use a spatula or a whisk or a turner for this task? We go through all of that. We also, and very importantly, cover different ways that caregivers can involve their clients in the meal preparation process. And lastly, very importantly, how to safely store, thaw, and prepare foods. So I'll stop talking for a second and we'll show you some footage that includes some class video, but also some of that, those interactive materials that kind of supplement the videos. And give me a thumbs down, guys, if you can't hear my audio.
And that is how I learned how to cook this.
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago that I was nervous to cook an egg.
So many cooking videos. No thanks.
Really? Don't you cook for your client?
I keep it as basic as possible, or I try to order takeout. Do you? I don't even know where to start.
So that might be familiar for anyone who peruses social media for recipes or cooking videos. I know it's one of my hobbies, but so very quickly we introduce you to the main the star of the class here, Kayla, the direct care worker, who's a bit unconfident about her cooking skills, and kind of very sequentially we take the caregiver or the learner through the process of how to read a recipe, how to determine what in this case Phil's dietary preferences and needs are, how to modify a recipe based on those needs, and here selecting the ingredients that might be appropriate for Phil. And here we see that feedback. And then again, here we're choosing the rights or learning about all the different tools that are very commonly found in kitchens, what they might be used for. And this class also includes several recipes that learners can reference within the class, but also can save as a PDF so they can use the next time they are preparing a meal for their clients. And here we highlight very specific basic cooking skills, such as how to properly slice an onion. Actually, I'm ashamed to admit, I use this class to refresh on how to slice an onion. So thank you, Aislinn. She did a great job with making this easy to learn and follow. And then here, how to crack an egg successfully. So again, this class does a great job of using proper sequencing and scaffolding and storytelling to really break down the barrier that a lot of caregivers feel that they need to get over to successfully cook for their clients, kind of giving them the confidence to do so. All right, let me move on. So the next class we'll talk about is called Kosher Meal Preparation for Direct Care Workers. And it's also in that cooking skills certification. It is 23 minutes long and provides an introduction for learners on how to prepare meals for clients who are following a kosher diet. So during this class, learners will be able to recognize characteristics of kosher diets, be able to distinguish between a kosher and non-kosher kitchen, and understand essentially how to ensure meals are indeed kosher. So I'm going to show you one of the class videos in full right now.
Would you mind giving me a tour of your kitchen? I want to make sure that I maintain a kosher environment when I help you prepare meals. Not at all. Let's go. Separate sets of dishes are essential for dairy and meat products. It's helpful to have different colors, patterns, or styles. Having parva. Labels are helpful for visitors and caregivers who may not be familiar with the kitchen. Some clients will have separate tablecloths, cloth napkins, and placemats for meat and dairy. However, laundering is acceptable, especially if items are cross-contaminated. Contact between open packages of meat and dairy products should be avoided in the refrigerator. I use different shelves and cover items to avoid cross-contamination. Some kitchens have double ovens. Dairy and meat should not be in the oven at the same time. If the same oven is used, clean any spillage. The self-clean option can kosher an oven. Verify how often the setting should be used by consulting the manufacturer's manual. Clean any spillage on the stove, especially in between using the stove for meat and dairy. Burners can be used for meat and dairy. Avoid using microwaves for cooking meat and dairy at the same time because cross-contamination is highly likely due to fumes escaping from lids. Some clients have porcelain sinks that are not kosherable. Use a sink rack to keep the dishes from touching the bottom. A tub can also be used in the sink to soak dishes and prevent them from touching the bottom. Use separate tubs for meat and dairy. Metal sinks can be koshered by pouring boiling water into them. The water should be boiling prior to pouring and when in contact with the sink. Dishwasher use varies. Clients who follow the majority of orthodox authorities will only use the dishwasher for meat or dairy, even if they're washed at different times. Clients following more liberal authorities will use the same dishwasher to wash meat and dairy utensils, as long as the interior is stainless steel and they're washed at different times. After using the dishwasher for dairy, run a full empty cycle with dishwashing soap on the hottest water setting, then wait. Depending on client preferences, some may request it be unused for 24 hours, then wash for meat. Regardless of authority, meat and dairy utensils should not be washed together. Always consult with your client about how they'd like you to navigate their kitchen and use different appliances in order to keep kosher.
Alrighty. So next up, we have defensive driving for direct care workers. So this one is a personal favorite of mine because I taught driving for a few months back in the day. Very, very harrowing experience, teenagers and driving. But anyway, so direct care workers often drive a lot for during their daily work, needing to get to and from their clients. And of course, we want them to do so safely. So this class is all about providing them with the knowledge and skills that will lead to that outcome. So this class is 20 minutes long, and learners will be able to describe the importance of defensive driving and what it is. They'll learn defensive driving techniques. Also, caregivers are there's a wide range of ages of caregivers. So it's important for them to understand how, as they age themselves, how their reflexes may change, their, other physical changes that impact their ability to drive, and also how medications can impact their driving. So all these really important topics to consider before getting behind the wheel on their way to their clients and back home. And also just general information on how to protect themselves while they're driving. So let me share a video that'll show some class videos. It's going to be showing what is defensive driving. Again, using storytelling and scenarios. And highlighting some of the considerations for folks, as abilities change. I know I've had to start wearing glasses while driving lately, so I can relate to this. All right, so yeah, lots of really important information around how our caregivers can stay safe while driving to and from their clients' houses, but also just in general. Just great tips for everyone, really. And at this point, I'll pass it over to Mindy to share more about burnout.
Okay, well, don't hit go yet. Don't hit the video yet. Just to give you a quick overview. Sorry, I don't have an overview slide, but this class is an hour long, and it is born of the fact that we understand that burnout is really a serious problem with throughout the healthcare industry, and we're sensitive to the fact that the Surgeon General says that this is a crisis, and so we want to provide as many resources as we can for caregivers. So this particular program helps caregivers and managers and coworkers see what problems are with burnout, what can happen, what the signs and symptoms are, and offer some suggestions for what to do about it. And Andrew, if you'll play the video, I'll give you a little more details. Again, as I said, the class gives an overview of what burnout is, with some interaction. As we mentioned earlier, this is true of our classes. Yeah, there's a lot of components to burnout. It's not a simple thing. It's a physical and emotional response, and it has many stages, and we go through the stages to help the learners identify where someone might be and what the signs might be at any given stage. And as you can see, there's buttons here saying see different stories, because we have different stories from caregivers at each stage. Hopefully you can hear this.
Was as if all the joy had been taken out of me.
Okay, that was so half of the story, but again, we've got videos throughout. So in addition to showing some of the problems with this caregivers have, we also see videos showing solutions. We've got some activities, and then the class ends with a quiz the caregiver can take to get a sense of whether or not they may in fact be experiencing burnout. So if they haven't already identified it for themselves in the course of taking the class, they also get an opportunity to take a quiz to see where they might be in the burnout again stages. And the next class is also a 1 hour class. And this one we particularly designed for our Canadian customers to inform people about Canadian privacy laws, much like HIPAA, but they have, obviously, it's a different country, they have different laws. So this class helps learners understand what those laws are. And also how to protect a client's privacy, confidentiality, and security. And it also contains, again, same components in our other classes, some storytelling, some scenarios. And this one also contains, you'll see some animated videos, but also some live action videos. So you can hit the go button, Andrew. Again, showing what the law is, how it's relevant. Again, some animated video. Again, a scenario. And again, also some live action video to talk about clients' rights, and we also talk about maintaining independence and ethics for the caregiver.
Thank you, Mindy.
You're welcome.
Right. So I promised we'd be talking more about our new specialized certifications. So here we are. We released 2 this quarter. And just for some background context, in case you haven't heard of our specialized certifications before, these certs are essentially CareAcademy's recommendation for specialized competency-based training programs. And they help direct care workers to become specialized in a specific area of care, supporting them with knowledge and skills that they need to provide safe and high quality care for their clients. And also they provide opportunities for direct care workers to upskill and move up the career ladder. They're also a great way to signal to clients and their families that a caregiver is, specifically trained in an area or skill or competency. So let me go first into, take it away, Mindy.
If you just want to show the components of this. So this is a 4-hour certification, and it contains these 4 one-hour classes. And you can see the class I just demoed, the burnout class is one of them. But we know that recognizing burnout is not the only way to prevent burnout. So we also include time management and organizational skills, job-related stress, because stress is the primary cause of burnout. And then coping skills, and coping skills covers the kinds of situations that a caregiver might experience on the job that cause those kinds of stresses that can then lead to burnout. So dealing with difficult clients and how do you cope with skills on the job. And then again, preventing burnout includes suggestions for what people can do in their personal lives to prevent burnout. So it's a balance of those workplace issues and as well as their home.
Thank you. And I'll just finish off with our cooking skills specialized certification. So you got a pretty in-depth look at 2 of the classes that are in that certification, but there are more that cover an even wider range of skills and competencies that will help direct care workers to feel confidence and be competent in preparing meals for their clients. So this certification consists of these 5 classes here. It's a little under 4 hours at 3 hours and 43 minutes long. Again, yeah, these very similarly designed classes as the 2 you saw. So, the learners are getting engaging, relevant, effective training to help them learn these really pivotal skills. All right, and just to cap off here, so we have some really exciting new content that's going to be launching in the coming weeks and months. First off, kind of to dovetail on Mindy's awesome new Canadian and privacy class, we're going to be releasing 2 new classes centering on online safety, privacy, and information security very soon. And also, on the horizon. So we've received, a substantial feedback, a number of requests around the need for Spanish language content. And we're really excited to announce that we'll soon be launching the full CareAcademy Spanish experience. So previously we had been able to offer classes that had videos with Spanish subtitles and also translated test questions. With this launch, the learners will be able to complete their classes fully in Spanish. So within the classes themselves, the videos, the text, all will be translated, as well as the actual platform that they'll navigate. So again, we're really excited. We'll have more to share about that in the coming weeks. All right, so we can stop here for any questions you might have for us. All right, so I am navigating to the Q&A here. Will you be having any CNA classes? Great question, Jean. So as you may have seen, read, heard, CareAcademy has acquired Next Step, which is a CNA training platform and curriculum. We are actively working on kind of making that curriculum our own, and we will be sharing more with you as that comes to fruition. We're really excited about being able to offer that curriculum to our customers, and having that as kind of the next step in our kind of vision of being a career ladder for caregivers. It's Patrice. Are online classes available to non-paid family caregivers? Interesting, you should ask that, Patrice. So at this time, we do not have a family caregiving curriculum per se, but we do have classes available in our caregiver free trial that may be relevant to you if you are a family caregiver yourself, or if there are family caregivers in your network. We also have a free class on Udemy that is specifically geared towards family caregivers. And yeah, more to come on future family caregiving offerings from CareAcademy. Susan asks, do you build custom courses for individual organizations, solo projects, if you will? Susan, if you'd like to reach out to me, I can share my my email address here in the chat, and we can connect about that offline. I'd love to talk more. I can type. There you go. Okay, so Susan.
I added the Udemy class link in the chat, and I also shared it directly as well. So people have that one now.
Thank you, Mindy. Appreciate it. And Susan astutely asks, for the CNA training, every state has different requirements. Are you all going to go state by state to get the theory portion of the training approved? In short, yes. So our approach is going to be starting with the kind of 75-hour minimum federal requirements, and going from there. We understand that it's going to be a lot of approvals, and our compliance team is well suited for that Herculean task. They're gearing up for that as we speak. So we'll be sharing more, in the near future as to, which states will be offering our curriculum in first, eventually aiming to have all 50 states covered, of course. Any other questions, folks? All right, well, how about keep pondering. If anything pops up, we still have about 6 minutes left, but I will kick it back to Erin so she can cover some of these last few slides.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, so we want to let you all know about our win-win referral program. If you refer someone and they choose CareAcademy to be their training partner, you will receive a $250 Visa gift card, which is pretty great. So if there's anyone in your network you think could use CareAcademy training, please send them our way. Feel free to send them to hello@careacademy.com. And we will get that rolling and hopefully get you a $250 Visa gift card. So thank you for that. Okay, so if you are interested in CareAcademy, based on the things that you learned about the stuff that we offered today in our webinar, feel free to contact us. The fastest way is going to be that number there, 866-227-3895. But you can also reach out via our website or Team CareAcademy at careacademy.com. All right, and if you want to get a quick overview of all of the new stuff that we have going on, we have new.careacademy.com, and that will sort of wrap up everything that Andrew and Mindy talked about, and we'll give you some other stuff. So check out new.careacademy.com for just a quick rundown of these things.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. I just want to circle back to Susan one last time. So is there any hope to having CMS approve the CNA curriculum federally and creating a blanket approval for all 50 states, just so you don't have to go state by state? Oh, how I wish. I can't speak to that directly. I will check in with our compliance and policy development team to see if that's at all on the horizon. From what I've heard, it sounds like that may not be at least an option or a reality for the next, like during the life cycle of our project in terms of getting this approved CNA curriculum out to you all. But Susan, I will check, and hopefully we hear some good news. And yeah, please feel free to reach out to me regarding that or the custom training that you asked about. Okay, if there are not any other questions, I just want to say thank you so much for attending today. We hope you enjoyed all the great new content that we shared, and please do reach out to the channels that Aaron shared if you have any other questions. Thanks all.